Hello everyone, Mr. Pope's History class, back here again with our third installment of Weekly Rambling, which has to this point not been weekly, but it has certainly been rambling. Um, it's been a very busy semester for me so far. I have spent a lot of time in class trying to get things done and finish out my last semester. I will graduate this December with my bachelor's in history, so that's an achievement for me, and that's kind of where I've been. Most of the semester, I've actually spent working on a project that details the history of the Llano Estacado and the Comanche Indians and their fight against Colonel Ronald McKenzie. And it's a really long paper that I had to spend a lot of time doing. I did get to go out to some of the battle sites and do some exploration there, so that was really cool. And it's really just been an interesting paper to write. Because it spans from first contact of local indigenous groups in the Llano Estacado in the 1540s with Francisco Coronado, and it kind of details some of the Comanche Empire, Comancheria as it's better known, and then proceeds into that, mainly focusing on the period from 1867 to 1874. There's a brief bit about the Battle of Yellow House Canyon, but it's really very disconnected from the larger story in a way that's hard to explain. So I spent a lot of time doing that paper. I also had to write an alternative history paper for one of my classes, and I decided to do that over Henry Wallace becoming vice president instead of Harry Truman in 1945, and it explores the exploration of the nuclear bomb and all that sort of stuff, and I thought that was an interesting paper. I've gotten both of those done, and I'm finally getting some time back to myself to make videos, which is why I did my video on, prime ministers, or not prime ministers, presidents who came back and made political comebacks that was inspired, because David Cameron, if you've been watching the news, made a comeback in British politics, which is very rare that happens. I think the last time they said it happened was Sir Alec Douglas Holmes, if I remember correctly. Let me look up the name just to be sure, because it's not a big thing. Alec Douglas. Yeah, Alec Douglas Holmes, who was the British Prime Minister for a year in the 60s, and then went on to serve as the Foreign Secretary again. So it's just an interesting little thing to happen we don't normally see. And so I kind of decided to, look at the American version of presidents who had come back, and, I just thought it was an interesting video. I wanted to talk, too, about some of the more recent presidents who have had really long careers after, the presidency. Jimmy Carter was one I thought about, but right now he is in hospice, and I would like to do an actual proper dedicated video to him. If you've been watching the news, last week his wife, Rosalind Carter, passed away at the age of 96, and we're just kind of seeing where things go now with them, because, Carter's 99, he's been in hospice for, oh dear Lord, no, almost 10 and a half months, or 9.5 months, something like that. So, it's going to be a tragedy when he passes on. He's a very interesting figure, and I highly recommend you read any of the books he's written or read about him in general. I really like Carter. I have several books of his on my bookshelf that I've read through, so just a nice man in general who we will be sad to see pass away. I mean, that's yeah. In terms of other big things, in terms of history, friend of the channel, Matthew Algeo, actually recently released a book. Let me see if I can find the email. Yes, he's releasing a book called When Harry Met Pablo, Truman Picasso? Yeah, that's great. When Harry Met Pablo, Truman, Picasso, and the Cold War Politics of Modern Art. And that went on sale a couple weeks ago. Full disclosure, he didn't pay me to say this. He just sent an email to a bunch of people he knew, or had their email address, and I want to get this book. I'm hoping to read it too and enjoy it, and I just thought I would tell y'all because he's a really nice guy. He did an interview with our channel. I'll link it in the description for the interview and the book for anyone who's interested to check it out. So, just a really nice guy, and I'd like to support his work. Another work that you might be interested in is I've recently been reading through King Leopold's Ghost, which is a work on the Congo when the Belgians, mainly King Leopold, ruled over the Congo, and it's very fascinating story. I was not that familiar with this particular aspect of history. I tend to focus more on earlier American history, so I'm sort of trying to venture out of that a little bit and learn. It's a good book. I highly recommend it. I haven't finished it yet, so I'm hoping to finish it by the end of this week. I think you will all enjoy it. So, in terms of anything else, there's not too much. We do have a video coming out next week that's going to be over our least favorite president, or worst president ever, as one author called him, James Buchanan. We're going to do a fun little video on him. My goal going forward now is to once a week have a video, or at least every 2 weeks, try and do a weekly rambling, something like that, or one of my 5 facts, which are easy videos. And that's really the plan going forward now that I will be done with college, at least for a little bit until I have to go back for postgraduate school, but I'll have some time before that. In terms of how we're going to do this, typically what I would like to do is I want to have 2 types of videos on the channel. I want to have videos that are fact, just little fun things you can tell that, aren't going to be necessarily the most important thing you learn, but things that are interesting and I'd like to share. And then I'd like to do more thoughtful, in-depth videos like the ones about, the life and times of Benjamin Harrison, for example, when I did that one, or the post-presidential careers of some presidents. And I'd like to do more some thoughtful analysis of videos like that. I like to do both because I think they're both really fun to do, and it helps me have more content when I'm not always struggling to have to get some big thoughtful analysis out. Sometimes we just need stupid fun facts that are cool to spread with friends and get people interested in looking into a topic, and I think that's really good. Expect more regular uploads starting from now on. This weekly rambling will come out, I think I'm going to start doing Tuesdays as an upload day each week, kind of in the middle. Work on videos on weekends, get them up by Tuesday, and I think that'll be good. Please let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hey, have a wonderful day.